Police still haven't said who the gunman was who massacred those Canadian women. New evidence that drug money may have bought a killer for hire in the Bogota bombing, and medical researchers' first real hope for an AIDS vaccine. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rattle reporting. Good evening. More than 24 hours after the crime that stunned all of North America, Canadian police still have not publicly identified the young man who massacred 14 women at the University of Montreal and then killed himself. The police also haven't said how or where he got the illegal semi-automatic rifle that was the murder weapon. CBS News reporter Betsy Aaron is on the scene.
It all happened during the last class of the last day of school before exams in the halls and classrooms of the engineering building at the University of Montreal. A young man identified only as Mark was dressed to kill, carrying a .223 caliber semi-automatic assault rifle and a knife, and wearing ammunition belts across his chest.
He said in French, "You're a bunch of feminists," and he started to shoot.
"I want the women," he said.
He asked the guy to go on one side of the class and the girl on the other side of the class. And after he shot, we moved like real fast.
Parents, friends, relatives were dazed, not sure where to go. Was their loved one a victim? Did their child survive what has been described as a human hunt? Police spokesman Pierre Leclerc lost his daughter in the massacre. He didn't know it when he was doing this interview. Geneviève Claudine was one of the lucky ones. She says just one bullet grazed her head, but she says, "I had a friend. She was next to me, and she was moaning, and she was in a pool of blood. I don't know if she was alive or not." After firing at least 35 times, the gunman killed himself, leaving behind the 14 dead women and a 3-page letter. It read in part,
"All feminists have always kind of spoiled his life, and that he hasn't been happy in life for the last 7 years."
Across Canada, there was mourning for an event few could understand.
People, and we are singing, singing for our love.
This isn't supposed to happen here. That's what every Canadian says. This kind of random violence is what happens across the border in the United States.
Hopefully this will shock us awake and make us realize that all the factors are there so that our cities become like the large American cities.
Already there are memorials. A prayer was left in the snow. It reads, "Forgive him, Father, for he knows not what he does. And please help us. It is so hard." Betsy Aaron, CBS News, Montreal.
In Miami today, a jury found a policeman of Hispanic heritage guilty of manslaughter in the deaths of 2 African-American men. It was a trial watched with concern by a city worried over a possible violent reaction to the verdict. CBS News reporter Aaron Hayes covered Miami's big trial.
Is a verdict Miami has been anxious to hear.
Find the defendant, William Lozano, as to manslaughter, as charged in count 2 of the information, guilty.
A block from where Hispanic police officer William Lozano shot at and killed 2 black men, they cheered at today's verdict. Lozano has insisted the shooting was in self-defense, but many here are convinced it was police prejudice against blacks, and that this time the justice system finally agreed.
One time to give the black man justice. Everybody got to give him justice.
The system had never worked for the black community. Today it worked.
This afternoon, Officer Lozano insisted the trial had not been fair, that he will appeal and try to remain a policeman.
I'm going to keep fighting for my job, for the justice.
The last 2 days, police in Miami have been on a high state of alert. Twice before here, when police were found innocent of killing blacks, rioting followed. At the courthouse just before the verdict was read, police filed out in riot gear. Lozano's attorney says the whole trial has been the focus of too much publicity, too much security.
You would think that World War III had started. There was more armed men with automatic weapons than I've ever seen in my life. And to have a trial under circumstances like that is absurd.
He had tried to move the trial away from Miami, away from concerns about an innocent verdict starting riots. Now Hispanics in Miami wonder if Lozano was sacrificed to keep the peace.
The general feeling is that Lozano is a scapegoat, and that he was punished because of the pressure of the black community.
It is hoped the city remains peaceful. There is still the sentencing to worry about, due on almost the one-year anniversary of the shooting in January on Martin Luther King's birthday. Some worry a lenient sentence for Lozano could bring more trouble on Miami streets. Erin Hayes, CBS News, Miami.
An encouraging answer today to a question that's been troubling AIDS researchers since the onset of that deadly disease. CBS News medical correspondent Susan Spencer reports on what one scientist calls the most significant advance in the vaccine field since we started the AIDS vaccine program. Susan Spencer reports.
In a development that dramatically boosts the possibilities for a human AIDS vaccine, researchers today announced that they have successfully inoculated monkeys against a type of AIDS.
We've answered the question, can you immunize against AIDS? And it appears that the answer is yes.
Now we have the foundation upon which to build a vaccine safe enough for humans.
The model vaccine, made by injecting inactive virus, protected the monkeys from simian AIDS, a close relative of the disease that affects people. 9 monkeys were vaccinated, then exposed to AIDS. Months later, 8 still are not infected. The other shows signs of infection, but is not sick.
As a matter of fact, I'm seeing extremely healthy-looking animals. This gives us something to compare to.
By contrast, the monkeys who were exposed to AIDS but not vaccinated all got sick or died.
It's established the fact that you can protect someone, be it an animal, hopefully a man, from infection by immunizing them.
But going from monkey to man is a big leap. Unlike the monkeys, people can't be exposed to AIDS just to test a vaccine. Researchers would have to vaccinate large numbers and then wait years to see if anyone came down with AIDS.
If we're lucky and we do develop the vaccine, it'll be well into the mid-90s that we have one available.
Given the difficulties, an AIDS vaccine might first be used as a treatment to protect people who are already infected from becoming sick. Today's results are the strongest indication so far that even that is possible. Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
And still to come on your CBS Evening News, the still unfolding big news, a lot of it inside communism. Today in East Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Lithuania. And reporter Ron Allen on why it's raining bug spray in Los Angeles.
Our Volunteer of the Year is Doris Craig.
It's terrific how Depend changes people's lives. And now there is a terrific change in Depend elastic leg undergarments. It's called AbsorbLock, a unique leakage protection system that locks in 25% more. It'll do wonders for your confidence and get you back into life.
Thank you so much.
Get back into life with Depend. Now with AbsorbLock protection.
Norman, what's that?
Nothing, honey.
I asked a simple question.
Norman, are you eating something?
It's nothing, honey.
He lies like a dog.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch. Crisp golden flakes glazed with sweet honey and real roasted peanuts.
Irene, what's that you're playing?
Nothing, honey.
Two can play this little game.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch.
That'll be a charge. We interrupt this purchase for a reminder. The Discover card actually pays you cash back for every charge.
That's a great idea.
Don't forget, Santa.
It pays to Discover.
Ever try this coffee?
Oh, no. I use a special blend, brewed fresh.
So do we. But then we freeze dry it to lock in superior flavor and aroma until you release it.
Perfect.
Who are you? We're Taster's Choice.
It's a season of great hope in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, but tonight hopes are mixed with uncertainty and fear that demands for reform may overwhelm the so far peaceful process of change. In East Germany, communist leaders opened their first ever talks with opposition groups. With the government in shambles and police warning of mob violence, they are trying to put together a whole new system. Tonight, they voted to recommend free elections in East Germany by May 6th this year. In Czechoslovakia, a key player walked away from negotiations with the opposition. Communist Premier Ladislav Adamec quit, saying he just couldn't form another new government under constant pressure of strikes and demonstrations. And inside the Soviet Union itself, for the first time, a Soviet republic voted to abolish one-party communist rule. The Parliament of Lithuania openly defied the Kremlin and Mikhail Gorbachev. And Estonia said it would follow suit within days. From Prague, Czechoslovakia, Anthony Mason begins our report on the changing face of communism.
In just a few hours today, Czechoslovakia suddenly slid to the brink of political chaos. First, Communist Prime Minister Ladislav Adamets, reeling from the demands of trying to form a coalition government, just up and quit his job. Then tonight, Czech television announced that former leader Miloš Jakeš had been bounced from the Communist Party. His crime, the gross political error of allowing the November 17th police attack on demonstrators, a moment from which the party will probably never recover. Adamets had been in trouble since last Sunday, when after promising a coalition government, he introduced a cabinet that included only 5 non-communists. 250,000 Czechs immediately demanded its resignation. Adamets had been renegotiating all week, but this morning he suddenly told party leaders it was time for a younger man. He just told us he's resigning, the socialist leader said. The president quickly promoted Deputy Prime Minister Marian Chalfa, and the opposition quickly rejected him.
At this moment, he does not have the support of the Civic Forum and the Public Against Violence.
Civic Forum is still demanding that more than half the new cabinet be non-communist, and still threatening a national strike Monday if its demands are not met. But negotiations now may have to start all over again.
Now it's very complicated now. We'll see.
And tonight the strained faces on opposition leaders suggested that Czechoslovakia's government is edging dangerously close to collapse. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Prague.
The Lithuanian parliament overwhelmingly ratified an end to Communist Party dominance in the republic, a head-on challenge to Kremlin rule, and a major step toward independence. As of this moment, said a Lithuanian journalist, we have a multi-party system. And Baltic neighbor Estonia is close behind, its Communist Party spearheading the move to end one-party rule when Estonia's parliament meets later this month. It is a march toward freedom accelerated by the end of Communist Party control across Eastern Europe. Baltic leaders say they cannot stop it. It is coming from the very grassroots of their society. Mikhail Gorbachev has steadfastly opposed multiple parties in the Soviet Union, since the party is the glue that is keeping this country together.
I think there will be a way for the Soviet Union to maintain its cohesion, even with multi-partyism, but it isn't going to be easy. And if Gorbachev is riding a tiger, it's going to be a more vigorous tiger in the future.
Most frightening for the Kremlin, a call from Andrei Sakharov, now a member of the new Soviet Congress, for a 2-hour nationwide strike next Monday. If it happens, it would be the first such strike in Soviet history. It's an effort to pressure the Congress of Deputies into amending the Soviet Constitution and ending party monopoly across the entire country. The newspaper Izvestia calls Sakharov's move playing with fire. And to this hour, no public reaction from the Kremlin, although clearly Gorbachev and other party leaders are nervous, downright worried. Dan?
Barry, can Gorbachev take this? The Lithuanians and the Estonians really just throwing it in his face.
Well, it's hard to know, and I've got to tell you, every signal they have sent up until now has said no compromise. And Dan, there is fear here that Gorbachev could be facing his Prague Spring, that he may resort to force to keep his party and his country intact.
Barry Peterson in Moscow, thanks. The movement away from communism took on a violent tone in Poland. Last night, several hundred young people attacked a statue of Lenin, defacing it and then setting it on fire with gasoline bombs. The crowd yelled, "Down with commies," and "Soviets go home." And the now non-communist-led government had to call in police to defend the monument to Kremlin domination.
In the 1950s, relieving nighttime cold symptoms took a lot of different medications. In the 1960s, NyQuil combined those medications into one. But today there's something even they don't give you. All ingredients at maximum strength. Introducing Benadryl Plus Nighttime Cold Formula, a maximum strength formula for nighttime relief.
Good night, honey.
With new maximum strength Benadryl Plus Nighttime, the rest is easy.
Victor Kiam,
What's the ultimate shaving gift?
The Remington Microscreen Ultimate. Its 2 screens shave as close as the blade, or your money back. No other shaver makes that promise.
Now I know why he bought the company.
Remington.
When the time strikes for a little late-night snack, reach for the fresh taste of Sunsweet pitted prunes. Delightfully sweet way to say good night. Only one prune tastes Sunsweet.
According to the latest estimates, Earth will soon be inhabited by more than 5.2 billion people. Where will they all fit?
In Colombia, chilling new information tonight on the killer bomb in Bogota that left up to 52 people dead yesterday and wounded hundreds of others. From Bogota, CBS News correspondent Doug Donnell reports that Colombia's cocaine thugs apparently hired a murderer from Europe to do their deadliest dirty work.
It was the worst terrorist bombing in Colombia's history, and one that investigators today said confirmed an ominous new link between the cocaine cartels and an international terrorist group. Colombian authorities say intelligence reports indicate the bombing was masterminded by a former member of ETA, the Basque separatist terror group known for its lethal bomb campaigns against the Spanish government. Authorities declined to name the suspect, but they say they know he recently visited Colombia. He is also a prime suspect in the bombing of a Colombian passenger jet last month, in which 107 persons perished. The head of Colombia's security police, General Miguel Massa, said today the bomber was working for 2 leading cartel members, Pablo Escobar and Jose Rodriguez Gacha. The 2 bombs killed more than 150 persons, 7 times the death toll of all the other recent bombings and assassinations here combined.
Behind the random deaths here, there is a very specific message to the voters of Colombia. There is to be a referendum here next month on whether or not to continue extraditing cartel leaders to the United States for trial. The message is the cartel wants a no vote, or else.
And to make sure no one misses that message, they have pushed the drug war to a new height of sophistication and of bloodshed. Doug Donnell, CBS News, Bogota.
The Philippine government claimed victory over a military coup attempt today, but the rebels were defiant and vowed to continue their fight as they marched out of their strongholds in Manila's financial district and returned to army barracks. A negotiated settlement ended the 6-day siege in Manila, but other military rebels were still holding out in an air base in the central Philippines, and President Aquino today asked her Congress for wide-ranging emergency powers to rule the country.
Most folks feel cheated when their cereal turns mushy and milk. Crispix is toasted crisp with a special shape that keeps it crispy. In fact, we'll take a break and then you can see for yourself. You guys can watch too.
Those human rights to which this nation has always been committed.
Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Peace now, peace now, peace.
We're not going to try to control what our people read and say and think.
You commit yourself to the principles of God. Free at last, free at last.
The freedom to say and think what we believe, to express our individuality and diversity. That's our birthright, and it's ensured by this document. Join us and the National Archives in celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Bill of Rights.
Okay, let's see how it held up. Denise?
Crunchy. Really tasty.
Well, there you have it. Okay, everyone, get out your spoons. Crispix. Crisp that just won't quit.
It's a horror movie come to life, The Return of the Medfly. Helicopter crews are launching pesticide raids over a wide area of Los Angeles in an effort to wipe out the latest infestation of the destructive Mediterranean fruit fly. The stakes here are enormous. If just a single fertile medfly crosses the mountains that separate urban Los Angeles from the agricultural riches of the San Joaquin Valley, one expert warned all hell will break loose. Reporter Ron Allen looks at a war no one claims is won.
An all-out offensive is underway to contain the worst infestation of Mediterranean fruit flies ever to hit Los Angeles County. Residential neighborhoods face nightly aerial pesticide assaults.
Here it comes. I don't want to be outside when they come.
So far, more than 250 square miles. Some 2 million houses and businesses have been sprayed with malathion.
It's all right here. All these little brown specks.
Residents brace for more spraying and cleanup the morning after, but officials say it's a necessary annoyance. Just outside of the target area lies some of the nation's richest farmland. Just a few tiny medflies laying their eggs and multiplying in the produce there could have disastrous consequences. Crops wiped out and higher prices nationwide.
I would not classify it at this point in time as being under control because we continue to find flies in new areas.
When a large infestation struck during the early 1980s, some importers placed costly embargoes on California's $16 billion a year produce industry.
The major problem is the quarantine that countries like Japan and some European countries would impose on California, and therefore the economic consequences are extremely sweeping.
James Carey is a medfly expert who worries that California officials may be underestimating how difficult it is to eliminate the threat.
We have to acknowledge that this is a large and widespread infestation that has been here for several years.
I am not willing to concede that the pest is endemic or that it's countywide.
But the spreading medfly is a stubborn pest. Supplies of sterile flies from Hawaii, which are released by the millions to breed the insect out of existence, have not kept up with demand. And the primary strategy, aerial malathion spraying, still comes under attack.
The ag mentality is spray now and worry about a little bit of cancer and health problems later.
Malathion is the safest of the materials available for this kind of urban eradication project.
Today, a panel of experts announced a new intensive strategy against the medfly. Some of the infested neighborhoods will be sprayed repeatedly during the next few months, possibly longer. A decision that officials acknowledge could cause an outcry as victory against the medfly continues to elude them. Ron Allen, CBS News, El Monte, California.
Come on, honey, let's just buy this cheap smoke detector.
But I'd feel more secure with a first alert.
Well, I'd rather save a couple bucks.
Would you trust your family's safety to anything less than a first alert smoke detector?
Chances are we'll never even have a fire.
Good friends and good food, but my stomach aches. My party. And Mylanta 2.
Double strength Mylanta 2 with nearly double the acid neutralizing power of any leading regular strength brand.
Because my life takes Mylanta 2.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
When I get headaches, they're not little baby ones. All right? Yeah, I got a headache. They're full-grown, adult-sized bangaroos. I can't keep them from coming, but I can bang them back with the adult pain reliever, Bear. It's strong. It's not an aspirin substitute. It's made for adults. Maybe that's why so many doctors take Bear. Doctors are adults, just like you and me.
For adult-sized pain, Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
Armenians in the Soviet Union and all over the world were in mourning today, the anniversary of last year's earthquake that flattened whole cities in Soviet Armenia. About 150 people gathered at a park in Moscow to grieve for the 25,000 who died And to protest the meager assistance Gorbachev has provided to 500,000 people left homeless. Gorbachev has promised to rebuild the area within 2 years, but as correspondent Mark Phillips reports, he really hasn't even started.
A year later, the sound in Armenia's high earthquake-stricken valleys might have been of reconstruction, not sad recollection, of movement to the future, not mourning for the past. But the sounds echoing across this landscape of misery are not so much of progress for the living as of prayer for the dead. There's been more construction in the graveyard for earthquake victims in the epicenter town of Spitak than there has been in the town itself.
They are waiting too much. Somebody solves their problems. I understand that because when you have lost everything, there is such a pain inside.
Waiting like the Noyan family, still in a tent, facing another winter, huddled by the fire. Or like the Ilebekyan family in a plywood shack without plumbing or heat. Waiting like the Milkonyans, or what's left of them, in another dilapidated shack sitting on top of what used to be their home. 2 sons, 14 and 18, were killed in the quake. They've written letters asking for new housing that doesn't yet exist. We don't know how long we'll have to wait, he says. Until we die, I guess. All over the earthquake zone, it looks like disaster struck last week, not last year. The Armenian relief effort is suffering from the same problems that cripple the rest of the Soviet economy: poor distribution of materials and equipment, a lack of organization, and above all, a lack of incentive. A year later, the rubble is still here, and so are the people, waiting for help from the state that has not come. Trucks rumble constantly through Spitak, but few of them seem to be carrying anything. In the best of times, this system has trouble delivering basic necessities, and these are the worst of times, made even more difficult by the renewed ethnic tensions between Armenia and neighboring Azerbaijan. Tensions that are once again bringing hundreds of thousands into the streets.
To make clear, it is an undeclared war against Armenia, which is still in progress.
Construction of new housing has been stalled by a blockade of building materials and fuel, which has to come through Azerbaijan. No one knows when these buildings will be ready or who will get to live in them. The only new housing occupied so far is a prefab village put up by the Italians. Among its 2,000 residents are orphan children for whom housing is only one problem.
They think that when they go back home, they won't find the house, or they won't find the grandmother or the persons that are living with them now.
Because they are very sad. They are very, very much inside, the deep down, the sadness of their heart. Nobody can understand it.
The clock in Leninakan, which had stopped at the moment of the quake, is working again. But that hour is carved in stone, a symbol of a desperate people stuck in time. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Spitak, Armenia.
And that's part of our world tonight. We hope you'll stay tuned now for the program 48 Hours. Tonight, Inside West Point, a look at changes at the United States Military Academy, including a look at the question of should American women be okayed for combat. That's tonight at 8, 7 Central Time. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you in 48 Hours.
Programs for the elderly are just one of the services your gifts to United Way help fund.
Thanks for carrying Humphreys County with you.